Hi folks, Brian here, quantlabs.net. Okay, so I'm going to talk about quants, what's going on in the banking industry. It's from, I believe, Financial Careers. First, I wanted to mention, of course, our sponsor, me, because I'm important. If you are interested in any of this sort of stuff, what I do is I have a series of books you can get online at quantlabs.net slash book, and you'll get a bunch of PDFs too, in fact, just by filling out all your information, name, email, to again, quantlabs.net slash book. So a couple of things I want to show you here, and this is efinancialcareers.com out of the UK. There seems to be all the quant moves are taking place in London. Just as an example, everyone might complain and whine and bitch about Brexit. If you go on to the job market right now and look at either New York, Chicago, Zurich, even here in Port Toronto, what you'll find is probably easily the number one market for for IT related jobs, specifically in finance. I'd easily put in is London, UK. I'll show you that in a minute. But here we have UBS, the London operation, has hired, this is the QIS, Quantitative Investment Strategies Structuring Division. They took this guy, Spiros Mesomeros, who's got a team, and he figured out, this is 2018 Quant Research Team of the Year, where they did a study saying that you can predict stock prices and construct a database based upon ETF flows and how it affects stock pricing. I could have told you that 2 years ago. That was a no-brainer. If you just watched and read every day the Bloomberg News app, you would have been a year ahead of that. So also the UBS is been hiring some other folks as well. But at the end of the day, what I want you to take away here, really important, is this comment right here. Banks are building quantitative investment teams as algorithmic trading becomes an increasing source of competitive edge or competitive advantage. Head of QIS of UBS, Mesomeros, will be overseeing quants to develop and execute quantitative investment strategies and trading algorithms, blah, blah, blah. So again, that can be found at UBS hired Deutsche Bank's top quant. Okay, so again, if you are interested in this, I talk about this. You just go over to quantlabs.net slash book, get yourself signed up. I'll be splitting off my quantitative analytics stuff because we got a huge momentum now building with MotiveWave, and I haven't even shown the capabilities what will be coming out of MotiveWave, and the ability to export and post my research or even my desktop environment from MotiveWave and deploy it onto my Elite or into my whatever section I go with, and you'll be able to copy and have the exact same environment in your own MotiveWave. And that's the exciting part about this. And then the Elite will become more of a programming section, because there is a massive distinction between traders, and then there's traders who want to program but can't figure out, can't cross that finish line in getting into programming. I mean, it's a necessity, but if you can't do it, I'm going to put a focus on the quantitative analytics section, with the leveraging of MotiveWave. It's very powerful. Next up, I'll be working on the Elite, which will be more of the programming as well. So the Elite will not have the analytics anymore. It'll be its own spun out section, I guess. And that's coming up probably the next day or so. So keep your eyes out on that announcement, which you'll get through this quantlabs.net slash book. So let's continue the job searching with good old good old search engines or aggregate for computer jobs. Let me do a search on London HFT programming. I'll just say jobs. And I want to show you some of the conditions I've not seen in over a decade. Let's see here. Okay, so there's this HFT org. Let's see what they're paying for these type of jobs. Now, if there are jobs out there and you're highly accomplished, I don't think a candidate will even give a crap about the salary. If the salary is not posted, I think a high level HFT developer won't even consider going to a recruiter, consider going to a firm if they don't list the salary. Like it's pointless, because it's another way of saying I can't afford and I can't stay competitive to pay the right correct rates. Let me go to DuckDuckGo. Okay, let's go to DuckDuckGo. This is where I found. So let's say we're looking for quant jobs. Okay, let's see what sites come up. So Indeed pretty well is the number one, but I'm going to show you some of the job listings here, and I'll show you some of the conditions. So yeah, this is what I'm speaking of 54,000 pounds a year, and you would think, well, that's like this is insulting if you ask me. Like, why are you paying an entry level position for like pretty paltry for London? But here, if I go to 65,000 plus, I will expect to see some very high paying jobs. So you have 72,000, and that's just as a junior researcher. That's pretty good. Here now we're starting to get into something a little more, and that's at Invesco, quantitative research analyst, Python. It's at a fintech, 80,000 a year. So we're starting to see some better conditions. So if I go into this one, let's see what it's about. A couple of job conditions I've seen, which again, Brexit's working for those looking for jobs in London that are not anywhere else, and it's all because of Brexit. And the reason is because Brexit is, I guess these companies are preparing for the notion that immigration into London is going to get tougher and harder to get qualified people in England, and that don't have their education, let's say in England. I'm born British, so I qualify. So this works to my advantage. Here we have some jobs here at 70,000, 80,000. First thing I want to look for is what are they paying, or what sort of education are they needing. So here they want you to be educated in quant, finance, math, or computer science. So there is that requirement, but one thing that you will notice here for this type of job, they don't require you to have a master's or a PhD. I don't know what the candidate pool will be like for London. I can't say, but if it's very limited on the educational front, where maybe let's say older people applying for these type of jobs like myself, it gives a better opportunity. So, Pandas, NumPy, MATLAB, R, that's all it's needed. It's obviously SQL. Not seeing any form of machine learning here is needed, or I'm sure there's some listings here that they are looking for, but they don't publicize it. So maybe they are looking for PhDs and give preference to PhDs or masters, what the kind of school you're at. So those are the sort of things. And the other thing I like about this is, not sure if this is a review of this company, but there is more of that on the recruiter, which is good because it brings back some control for candidates when they're applying for jobs. So here, Calypso is a heavily sought after software. So here you can see they want you to have PhD as well, but there were some really good jobs here that were listed in 100,000. Now, I don't understand, like a lot of Wall Street's now, what I heard last week is that Wall Street's looking at moving into sports betting. So again, PhD, MSc is needed. So there is some of these jobs, but there were quite a few I didn't see where they were looking for, PhDs or mathematicians. But here's another one, 90,000. Some of the jobs I did see were paying up to 150,000. Master's or PhD graduate. So the job conditions are pretty good for London. Here's another one. And these are the sort of, if I was a top pick, this is what I'd be looking for, the jobs. Let's see if they look for a PhD. Yeah, so they are looking for PhDs and masters as well in math, physics, engineering. Okay, so let me just see if there's anything else out there. Okay, so you could see that there are some jobs that are paying pretty good in London. I would not be really interested in this because they own you. They own you for a while. You pay a lot of tax. Not worth it, if you want my opinion. So let's see what's in New York. See if we have the same kind of thing where we do see salaries listed. So 115,000 we starting at, pretending to be a PhD. Looking for anyone that lists salaries in the heading here. I really like this rating, 3.9 for the employer. That's pretty good. So here's one, 140,000 planner advisor. I don't think that's anything to do with. But you see, it's not as blatant as the London jobs where they list those rates. Here's one, marketing and business intelligence. I don't know what that's going to do. This is a quantitative analyst. One other thing I noticed is quantitative analysts spreading into other industries. It's just the techniques of quants being applied to other industries. But we're looking for banks, hedge funds, maybe some private equity boutiques. Here's 160,000 lead data scientist. Let's see what these guys want. So these guys know they're paying top dollar. Cutting edge startup, machine learning, 160, master's or bachelor. So master's is what you need. And there you go, it's in marketing, TV, advertising, data. But the money's there. Liquidity analyst, urgently hiring. But you're not seeing the salaries like they used to. Let me see if we could find a computer related, sorry, a banking. There you go, Sigma. So let's see, lead data scientist. Let's see what Sigma pays. This is 2 Sigma. Funny enough, no mention of salary. The reviews, 3 and a bit. You gotta like that. That's really good to have. So here you go. Here's all the reviews, 4, 5, 3, 2. Some of these people that gives probably 2 have probably been fired by the company. But I know personally some people that have gone through a firing process that would be deemed unfair for a variety of reasons. But again, coming back to my original point, there are very few high-paying jobs that are listed with the salaries, because that shows you that there's a huge supply of candidates out there that they could be pretty, hold back the salary. You won't know until you actually get hired. And there might be some publicized offers on the pay out there. So let's look at another one. Chicago's another big financial center. Let's see what they pay. Chicago, what was it? Quant jobs, see what they pay. But it comes back to what I said before. When it comes to jobs, yeah, there's not a lot of. Yeah, let me go to the highest paying, 105,000. It's ridiculously low. Back in the day, you could be getting $500,000, and they get listed even up to well over $500,000. I remember back in the day. I don't think these sites exist anymore. Here you go. Here's a big data engineer, 150,000, starting at 70,000. It's a huge, wide variety. But at least they list it. But yeah, you cannot find a lot of good paying jobs in the U.S. They sort of exist in London, but the problem is that in London, here's one, AVP, Synchrony Bank. Let's see what they have. 150. It's nowhere close to where it was. It's just because more schools are putting out so-called quants. There's just a bigger supply of candidates. So, the jobs aren't there like they used to. Here's one, strategy leader, or whatever that means. I don't even think that'd be quant related. But it's not as many as you get in London. I checked Zurich. I've checked Toronto. Maybe Singapore's got, but I don't think they pay that well. I could check Singapore, and I know I'm not going to bother with Hong Kong because of the problems there. Let's see, recruits, Glassdoor, analyst jobs, quant jobs. Here we go. And Glassdoor. I don't think. Seems like a lot of jobs, but what do they pay? Let me just see. Hedge fund quant analyst, 180K a year. Now I'm going to assume that's Singapore dollars, so 180,000. That's pretty good actually. See here's what you need: Math Olympic participant, probably looking for winners. Bitcoin, crypto, PhD level, but that's pretty good money. That's the highest I've seen. So maybe I could be wrong. If you can see anything that lists 180, that's pretty good money. 160, so that's not bad. Let's see what we got here. Singapore might be worth looking at as well. There's quite a few actually. So the U.S. just I don't seem to be as well paying. Singapore is looking pretty good. Not as good as London, that's for sure. So there's that, but I'll leave it there. But hopefully you get the idea. But if I was in the market, I'd be looking at London because of the Brexit. On that, hopefully I'll help you out. We shall talk to you later. Thanks for watching.